Hello YouTubers. Thought I'd start off here with just a little tour of some of the stuff I do. uh, I have a passion for antique radios and I love restoring them. This is just some little workstation I put together to work on them. Thought I would show you some of my equipment I use. Right here we have a variac and a dim light tester. Use that to any new radios I get in or I find at the flea market. I plug it into there, and what that does is check and make sure there's no shorts in the radio that would burn anything up. It kind of limits the current until the radio warms up. Some of my equipment, I have a Viz. This is a newer meter that was manufactured on the same principle as the RCA senior voltomeist. This company Viz bought them out back in the late 70s, I believe it was, and they continued making the senior voltomeist under the Viz label instead of the RCA label. I've got a signal tracer. This is a night signal tracer I use, tracing signals when I need it. And sitting above that is a little B&K sweep function generator. That comes in quite handy for injecting signals and so forth. Also, here's my Heathkit RF signal generator. Use that for injecting signals into the front end of radios so that I can track the signal through to the audio sections with an oscilloscope or meter. I've got a little substitution box here that comes in quite handy sometimes. It's an old Konar with 1% resistors and 1% capacitors. It's fairly accurate for an inexpensive piece of equipment. Konar was a division of National Radio Institute, which kind of went out of business around the late 80s, I believe it was. And I've got a 20 megahertz leader scope here that I use for signal tracing. And I have a B&K model 277 multimeter, which is very nice and it's pretty accurate. Use that quite a bit. And I have a auto ranging DVM that comes in handy. And right now I'm getting ready to restore this little Emerson. I picked that up off of eBay, and it's a nice little unit. And it's can be battery powered. And, it's got a little. It's going to be a challenge because it has a little warping on the back of the case. It's probably set too close to a lamp, table lamp, or some sort of heat source. And inside you can see has a tube type chassis, kind of compact, kind of neat. And what I like about it is it's got a little layout in here, and got the battery, kind of gives all the types of the batteries that it can use. So that'll be an interesting piece to modify. Got a little analog meter. They come in quite handy sometimes. And I've got a power supply for powering up transistor radios when I work on them. And I made this from scratch from a schematic I got off the internet quite a while back, but it works quite well. It will measure, it'll run from about 1 volt is the lowest when you turn it on, to 25 volts, up to about 3 amps, 2.5 to 3 amps. I've never driven it up that high yet, but it's based on a national semiconductor chip and power transistor in there. And my soldering station I got over here. And likewise, everything that I work on is plugged into this isolation transformer. So you want to make sure you got an isolation transformer when you work on these things, because you can get a rather nasty shock on these older type radios. Over here on this side, I've got my computer set up where I can download schematics off the internet. Nostalgia Air is a wonderful site for getting old radio schematics that one needs. And that's about the sum of my little radio workstation out here. It's just in the corner of a kitchen, actually. I live kind of by myself, and I utilize quite a bit of space. I do clockwork too, so I'll show you a little bit of the clock workshop. That's about it for right at the moment.